So I'm here with the Bragging Rights 2010 wrap-up video. I just watched a pay-per-view and it ended some 5 minutes ago. I went off the pay-per-view and I think it was not as good as the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was, as I thought it was a very good pay-per-view, and a lot of people liked the Night of Champions 2010, and SummerSlam was good as well. So was Night of Money in the Bank, but this pay-per-view didn't live up to that hype. I don't think the WWE intended it to do that either. If we're gonna run down the card as it's progress match by match, it started out with a very good match. Daniel Bryan, the United States champion from Raw, wrestled Dolph Ziggler with Vicky Guerrero, the Intercontinental Champion from SmackDown. Now I don't know why the WWE didn't make this a part of the Raw versus SmackDown concept as I had predicted it to be. They just made it an inter-promotional match with Raw versus SmackDown, but no connotations to the match later between Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. However, this match started out pretty slow with Dolph Ziggler dominating much of it, with sporting a mat-based wrestling, much like we're used to have seen Daniel Bryan wrestle in Ring of Honor. We know he's very technical, we know he's a very sound technician on the mat, but it was Dolph Ziggler who tried to down Daniel Bryan with his own arsenal, in a way, not as good as Daniel Bryan does it, but he tried to keep him short, tried to win the match early, but the match just progressed, and in the end it was an awesome match. Daniel Bryan won via tap out. I don't remember if I predicted Daniel Bryan or Dolph Ziggler to win this match, but it doesn't really matter. Daniel Bryan won via tap out, as I said, submission with his label lock. And before that had happened, it was a very intense match. I thought it was over like several times. I almost thought that Dolph Ziggler had the match won when Daniel Bryan saved himself by grabbing the bottom rope. And now I'm not used to delivering and giving matches points or stars out of 5 out of 10. I won't do that when it comes to this pay-per-view either, but I think it was a very good match, a strong solid opener for a pay-per-view. It felt like they went for about 15 minutes. The crowd was really hot. They were solidly behind Daniel Bryan, and they were hot for most of the night, but they were very much behind Daniel Bryan with several chants with a shout for Daniel Bryan, and so he's very popular. He's growing into his own. He had a Raw in his hometown this not 2 weeks ago. Past week was in Calgary, but the week before that. So he's getting a following. The mainstream watcher of the WWE gets to know who Daniel Bryan is. That's good. Then if we run down the next match, it was a call it a bonus match for the Tag Team Championship with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, claiming they have beaten more or less every tag team in the WWE, which is true. They have beaten the Hart Dynasty a couple of times, and they have beaten the Usos too, I think, and a couple of other tag teams with MVP and Chris Masters on Superstars this past week. So they were looking for some competition. They got that from John Cena and David Otunga from the Nexus. Wade Barrett came out introducing them, and this is a Tag Team Championship win for the Nexus that I predicted and I thought would have come already at Night of Champions had it been for Skip Sheffield breaking his ankle just a few days after SummerSlam. So David Otunga won, he celebrated. He didn't contribute that much to the match. John Cena won the match for them. However, Cena delivered an attitude adjustment to Otunga, walked out with both titles. So John Cena, as a part of the Nexus, have contributed to the Nexus winning their first title, the Tag Team Championship. Moving on, I guess, by the way, this is Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre. They were solely transitional champions. I don't believe they will win back the Tag Team Championship. Again, they might have a rematch on Raw or SmackDown for that matter in the upcoming weeks. I don't think they're going to continue their run as a tag team champions or as a tag team on a whole. The next match, Teddy DiBiase versus Goldust. I thought this match, if they booked it, which they did, was going to be for the $1 Million Championship. Didn't turn out that way. We could say that Teddy DiBiase won the match, which he did, but he lost the war because Goldust and Oksana still has the $1 Million Championship in their possession. Oksana lured Teddy DiBiase in after the match, which in itself was kind of forgettable. Wasn't that good of a match. But still, I like seeing Teddy DiBiase on the pay-per-view, and I like seeing different names on the pay-per-views as well, just not the same old wrestlers as we usually see, the top card wrestlers, the top tier talent. Now we get to see some other mid-card wrestlers, and they need their spot at the pay-per-views to make a name for themselves, to make them seem serious as they, and getting a push and become someone, because it's only the bigger names or those with talent that gets pay-per-view time. So I think it was the right move to move this match for a pay-per-view, and it's also much for a they have this book or DVD or something coming up with Dusty Rhodes and the $1 Million Man. I think there is something, they have projects for both these legends, so that's mainly why they put this match on a pay-per-view to start with, I think. Still interesting to see, not that good of a match, kind of forgettable. And Goldust still has the belt. It was kind of a sudden finish where Teddy DiBiase won after a DDT. Then we had the Divas match, which I think was kind of good. It was interesting to see, but Natalya, this was perhaps the match that I thought was so obvious that Natalya was going to win the title. Finally, she was going to win the title, I thought. Didn't happen, still champions. I don't know if it's Layla or Michelle or both of them. I think it's kind of disgrace to have these co-champions and they fill in for each other. That's okay, you can have a stand-in. That's been pretty common in the history, that you don't want to wrestle, then you find a suitable replacement for you, an interim solution. But you need to have a champion, and I'm not sure, because Layla won the unification match, didn't she? But no, Michelle did win the unification match, but Layla won the title in the first place. So I don't know, and I feel sad for Natalya because she really proved how good and how athletic she is throughout this match. An okay match, nothing more, nothing less. Kane versus The Undertaker. Kane pulled off the ultimate hat trick against The Undertaker. He came into this series, some matches at SummerSlam, oh sorry, Night of Champions, never beaten The Undertaker before. Now he's beating him three straight pay-per-views, with the assist of the Nexus once again coming in, Wade Barrett coming in, which surprised me because he had a title match later. Why would he want to run in and interfere in the Undertaker-Kane match, risking himself? He had been chokeslammed on that grave. He would not so much wrestle Randy Orton that night. So why would he come in there? I guess there is an agenda that will be explained. They have co-worked before. Remember the 900th episode where Wade Barrett delivered his finisher to the Undertaker after the interference from Kane. However, this match, Undertaker lost again. They said this was the 5th match Buried Alive, didn't they? Because I can only remember 3. The Buried Alive between Undertaker Mankind in '96, and then Stone Cold Undertaker Buried Alive in like December '98, I think it was, the Rock Bottom in your house, where Stone Cold won, and then where Vince McMahon defeated The Undertaker at Survivor Series 2003, which I believe was the last time we had a Buried Alive match. It was an okay match. The Undertaker dominated for the most early parts. Kane came back, won the match. We had a Team Raw versus Team Smackdown, an okay match, nothing special. Interesting, enjoyable. I liked seeing the match, but it was just the match I expected it to be. Team Raw lost. Team Smackdown won for the 2nd year straight, just like I predicted. Then we have John Cena versus Randy Orton versus Wade Barrett, with John Cena in Wade Barrett's corner. Barrett won via DQ. He told Cena before the match, if I doesn't win the match, you will be fired. So Cena made him win the match, and he also beat up because Nexus came down to the ring during the match. Cena cleaned the ring out because the referee was out. He just wiped the floor with the Nexus members. Told Barrett, I did that to not have you disqualified. And that made sense because you thought what's going on, but that was pretty logical, and so was the ending. I believe he gave Wade Barrett the FU to spare him the fate of getting the RKO, which he ended up getting anyways, and I think that was unnecessary. If Cena helped him, rescued him from getting the RKO, what's the point doing that if he ended up getting the RKO anyways? They could have built something for later. Wade Barrett is now on he's the sole person on the Survivor Series poster. I don't know if that means anything. It was an okay pay-per-view. I enjoyed it, kinda good, not as good as the previous pay-per-views. Share your thoughts, and good night.